Hello and welcome back to Cowshard Collectibles. Today is going to be a video of maybe three that are my sort of showing off my preparation for vending at London Card Show and what sort of stuff I'm taking. Now, there's probably over 100 hours total in preparation for a card show like this. I do have two tables and not just slabs. So the first video today is just going to be an overview of my binders. I have 5 binders in total that I'm taking that are all completely full. Next video will be some sealed promos and top-loaded singles. And then the final video will be some graded card slabs. Now, I hope to record all 3 of those. It depends on how busy I am in the lead up to London Card Show. Now, I am recording this on January 22nd, and you may ask, why aren't you pricing your stuff near the time? I just don't have the time. So let's get started, and I'll sort of run you through my sort of pricing guide. Starting off with this English binder. All my binders are labelled on the front. Some have this sticker on the front or the back. That's just to tell me that I finished it. It will obviously be taken off at London Card Show. So hopefully you can see this. This will be a longer sort of video. So if you want to just grab something to eat or just stick it on in the background, great. So let's start off. This is my Scarlet and Violet and Sun and Moon Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet promos. Now, the way I like to organize my binder specifically for shows is by set and by set number. So for example, this is SV1 125 out of 198. Then it goes to the next card I have, which is 200 out of 198, then 226 198, until it goes to the next set. And personally, I find this easiest for collectors to sort of, if they're going after a set goal and they say, oh, I want English 151, point them to where English 151 is in the binder based on the sets. So pricing wise, I will always, when it comes to English, match eBay lowest listed, buy it now. And I think every vendor should do that, because we're not having to pay eBay fees. Yes, we do still have to pay tax, but we're also not having to pay shipping costs as well. That's why, for example, an EX, in my opinion, should always be £1 or lower if it's a regular EX, unless it's a specific Pokemon like Pikachu or so on and so forth. That's because they're readily available. They'll be listed at £1.50 on eBay. If you were to ship that after fees, you're probably only getting 60p. So let's sort of flick through this now. So we've got Sword and Shield at the start. I like to have a nice array. I try not to have anything lower than a base EX in the binder, but it depends really. Depends on what I have in stock at the time. So I like to have a variety of cards. Normally nothing over £10 in the binder, but sometimes there is some stuff. So I've got some nice full arts, illustration rares, and I do like to try and have the biggest variety I can. So you'll see some slightly more expensive all arts from Paldea Evolved there. Moving on, we've got some Obsidian Flame cards. And generally speaking, from my experience, people aren't looking for hollows or reverse hollows. They are looking for the sort of hits from the set. Now, it is different when it comes to 151. I have put in my 151 reverses and hollows because a lot of people are looking for those sets. A reverse hollow should not be over 50p unless it's an old reverse hollow. But modern, I would say Sword and Shield onwards, at this current stage, shouldn't be more than 50p unless it's something like a really popular one that actually carries a price on eBay. So we've got some 151 here. Now this is a bit weird because 151 does it based on Pokemon number, I believe. So it's not quite as nice as, oh, it all goes fire Pokemon, then it goes or sorry, grass, then water, then fire, etc. I have a couple of the bigger cards in 151 down here, and I say bigger, they're classed as hits, I would guess. Moving on, we have some Paradox Rift, and I don't have a massive selection, but there will be cards here that people need. Now, will this whole binder sell? Probably not. Will 50% of it sell? Maybe. Paldean Fates have a good amount of baby shinies. They did really well for me in the last show, so I managed to pick up a nice bulk lot of those. Now with these, I'm not talking I have paid £1 for a £5 card. I have probably paid £3 for a £5 card. Now, that means that if someone was to offer me £4, I would take it. If someone was to offer me £3, I would potentially take it. Now, if they were to offer me less than what I paid, I probably wouldn't take it, unless they showed me that on eBay it is cheaper, and in that case I would match it. Okay, moving on. I shouldn't say unfortunately, I do have a lot of bulk I call from Paldean Fates, which are these illustration rares. I do have a lot of them, and Clive haunts me. I have millions of him. Probably must be one of the most easy trainers to pull. However, I do have the nice Arvin alt and the Nemona as well. And a couple of the gold cards is nice to have too. Moving on, we are going to some Temporal Forces. Mostly full arts from there. Nothing too crazy. The Chansey is really nice though. I will pull that one out because I do really like this card. And I have that £14 as of now. That is what they're going for on eBay, so that's why it's priced. Now, some sellers do price slightly higher than eBay low. That's completely up to them. If I was to price higher than eBay low, I would take lower on an offer. I find it easiest if someone pulls out a £5 card, they know it's worth £6 on eBay, they'll give me £5. There won't be the haggling. We then have some Shrouded Fable and whatever the next set after that is. I should really know what it is, but I have forgotten. Some nice illustration rares in that set. Then we go on to Surging Sparks. Now, I do have a lot of Surging Sparks. Some cards, as you'll see here, are technically base EXs, like the Pikachu and Sylveons. However, that's how much they go for on eBay. £3 and £6, so that's why they are priced like that. The Ace Specs, I think, are actually a good card to have at the moment. Because you're not only getting people who are completing sets, you're also getting people who are potentially building decks to play. A lot of Ace Specs are sort of staples, and at £3, it's a great card to have. A lot of nice illustration rares from Surging Sparks too. I'm not worried about having 1 or 2 duplicates in the binder. If one sells, the other one's available. And you'll see that throughout. And then we move on to some Sword and Shield promos. Now, all my Sword and Shield promos, except some, I shouldn't say all, most are £1 to £2. So we have a Vaporeon at £2, all of these, and most of these are all lower price. Now, some are a little bit more, like the Kingambit, the Magneton. That's just because, as I say, that is what they go for. And then at the back, I have some Sun and Moon Legendary Suicune promos, and a couple of the gold-plated cards as well. Now, moving on to the next binder. Now, I have 2 English binders and 3 Japanese binders. English actually does sell better, obviously being in England. So this is English vintage to Sword and Shield. I don't have much vintage, but I price based on condition. So there is a couple Crysteel Guardians reverses here, some Delta Species, some Holland Phantoms, but they are all in there. And then I have some Worlds cards. You can always tell if it's a Worlds card by the back. This is the 2007. So some nice cards in here in the earlier stuff. Now, I did pick up a set of Cosmic Eclipse and selling off some of the cards. So Got some of the tag teams here, the Arita artworks, of course. And then near enough a full set of the character rares, or whatever they're called in English, as well. Moving on, Sword and Shield. So Sword and Shield base have a lot of the full arts and above. And same moving forward to Darkness Ablaze, Rebel Clash, some other cards here, like this reverse holo isn't going to be 50p. If this was 50p, someone would buy it instantly. That's £4 on eBay, so sell it at £3 at the show. And you'll see some more popular Pokemon at £1 here. Lugia, Snorlax. People will buy those to grade, and that's what price I think is suitable for them. We have some more here as we flick through. Some Chilling Reign stuff. I even have some Evolving Skies stuff left in the binder. And you'll see mostly in the Sword and Shield stuff, there's very little of the Vs and V-Stars. It's more the full arts and above. There we go. And not too many duplicates in this binder as well, which is nice, but also some of the better cards would be nice to have in duplicates. Some of the Pikachu illustration rares there. Some of the nice, I call them character rares, but they are trainer galleries in English. So we've got the Kricketune, the Zeraora, so on. And then I've got a few Crown Zenith cards, and then I have a couple of the extra Sword and Shield promos just to fill out the back, and then some of the Topps cards. Okay, so that's all the English. Now, before I move on, what I do like to do is have a box on standby. And that's, for example, if someone comes and takes out a couple pages, which does happen. At the last show, someone came and bought all of my Paldean Fates Baby Shinies, which took up 3 pages. And you're left with a spare slot in your binder. And sometimes people don't check past the spare slot. They think it's empty from then on. So I do like to have a wee box, and what I do have in here are some priced cards. Generally speaking, I've probably pulled out a stack of non-priced cards. Here we go. So these are just some holos, reverse holos from various sets that I just used to fill in pretty much the binder. And that's, for example, London Card Show is a 2-day show. I'm going to need these. After the first day, if everything gets ransacked, happy days. But I do want to try and put on the best show I can every time. So there is also Japanese cards in there for the Japanese binders. And we'll be moving on to those now. So this binder is kind of a mistake binder. Japanese Baby Shinies in previous shows haven't sold very well for me. Now, you're not going to be able to quite see it all because it is a 4-pocket binder. So I do have 2 Japanese 4-pocket binders. I have a lot of Baby Shinies, so I'm just going to flick through them. These are all going to be £2 each. That's what they're selling for in Japan. That's what I'm going to sell them for in the UK. So a lot of really, really nice cards. They're actually much better textured in English, but people collect it less. So lots of those in the binder for people to pick out. And then we have some Shiny Treasure Baby Shinies as well. Some nice ones in here. The Sableye is a great card. This for £2 is really underrated. Now I do apologise if you can't see it. I'm just using the overhead lights. Actually, what I could do is, if I just do this carefully, might be able to see it a little bit better. But that is the Baby Shinies. So the reason I say it's a mistake is I've had this at a couple of shows and they've not done particularly well for me. Let's see if I can lighten that up a little bit. But you never know, so I'm going to bring them anyway. And I do have a lot of various GXs, Vs and EXs, some really cool ones as well, like this is a deck exclusive non-hollow Xerneas. And these are all just £1 each, so lots of really nice cards for people to pick up, even some gym promos in there, and a good variety of cards. Moving on, we do have some sort of popular Pokemon at the back, like Zapdos, Gyarados, etc. And I do have a lot of Terrestrial Festival as well for people to complete sets, as that is the popular thing at the moment. So some nice cards there. Not the most interesting binder, and the next one's okay. So this is my next binder. This binder got ransacked last time. A vendor actually after the show came up and bought everything out of it. So I assume my prices must have been too good. However, they're going to be priced the same as last time. So here we go. So we have a favourites binder now. I feel like this is a great thing to have. A lot of people are looking for the same sort of Pokemon. So your Bulbasaurs, Venusaurs, Blastoise. I do have a lot of Charizards here as well, and a lot of Eevees. Eevee's a super popular Pokemon. I do also have like the Pokeball Hollows from Terrestrial Festival, and a lot of the Evolutions, as you can see. These should all sell. I would expect them to. I do have some more beaten up cards here. These are Armored Mewtwo's. Now these are various priced based on condition, so this one is £5, has a big wear in the corner. However, this one is £7, so it should be a bit nicer overall condition. There we go. And some Snorlaxes, all the sort of favourite Pokemon that people might want. This is the big one, the wee yellow rat. A lot of Pikachus. Super important to have, in my opinion, if you can get them for a good price. I then have the free dogs, so Entei, Suicune and Raikou. These are the legend promos, super nice. And another staple, 151. Now, personally, I wouldn't collect it, but I do have pretty much all the important cards for 151. And you'll see in my top loader videos, I do have some of the bigger cards as well. Now this is all Japanese, so I have sort of all the ARs, or yeah, they're called ARs in Japanese, illustration rares in English, and I have some of the full art, so Venusaurs, Charizards, Blastoise, some various other ones. And then I move on to one of my favourite sort of pages in the binder. These are the Japanese CSRs, really cool. Lots of variety here. One of my favourites is this Eternatus VMAX with Rose on it. Let's see if I can get that to focus. Kind of there. And then refocus, please. Thank you. I do apologise if the quality is not very good on this video, but it is what it is. I'm just showing this off for you guys. So I also have some of the VA Union Arena. If it is a set, for example, I'll price them all at £15, but it is £15 for the set of 4, and I can explain that to a customer. Then we have some of the 25th anniversary stuff. Also does pretty well, especially the red exclusive premium pack stuff. And then some Radiant Pokemon. I really love these Radiant Pokemon. Only £2 each as well, a great price. Some gems here at the back, like this Pokemon card gem stamped promo, only £2. And some other really nice cards. If a card's unlimited, I do price it a little bit higher than first edition. I think that's fair. It technically should be rarer. And some other more favorited cards here. Now I have tried to keep it in order as much as possible. The only ones that aren't are sort of these two, which came later after I'd already finished the binder. But that is that one. And now onto my favourite binder, and the one that actually sells the least. This is the vintage mid-era and Sun and Moon Japanese binder. Now, obviously less people know about these sort of cards, so they sell less. but these are actually priced in a different structure. So I don't go off eBay lowest unless I am above it. So with these, I actually take the price I paid in Japanese yen and add a couple pound to each one, just to make a little bit on each card, and they should hopefully sell. So I have some old back hollows at the start, have a nice page of EXs here, some Diamond and Pearl era hollows as well. And in this binder I've actually written at the top the sort of era and what sort of like Diamond and Pearl, Platinum, so on and so forth. Some nice level X's here. And these aren't the mintiest cards, which are probably why they don't sell as often, but when they do sell, it's super nice. Some nice Legend era stuff here, a lot of nice primes. And some more Legend hollows. Moving on to some black and white, we have some Shiny Collection. These are all sort of sorted, not by set, but by typing, so water type, etc. This is a super cool page. This is black and white full arts. This end is great, £12. I think I showed that off on a mail day. And then we have XY era stuff, a lot of super nice cards there. And then on to Sun and Moon. Now the Sun and Moon stuff is pretty minty. Some of these will get PSA 10s if people grade them, but that's up to those people. There we go. Some nice tag teams here as well. And then we have some Sun and Moon era GXs, some of the favourites in this binder. A nice page of Tag All-Stars Secret Rare Energies. And then we go into some promos. So some Diamond and Pearl Platinum promos. Some black and white promos. This Ampharos is really cool for £5. Really do like it. And then on to some XY. Some Sun and Moon at the end. So some really nice cards overall. But that is sort of what I am planning on taking binder wise to London Card Show to vend. The next video will hopefully be the promos and full arts, and I'll probably record that on another day. But that's all. Let me know what your thoughts are on vendors. If you feel like they are fair most of the time, if you feel like quite a few are out to rip you off, or what the best sort of strategies you have as a vendor. That's all for today. Thanks again for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.